One unique idea for individual or classroom behavior is to actually use a game board. Now, this could be used in the traditional sense where you have the game boards laying around somewhere in the classroom, or you could actually mount any of these game boards to a bulletin board and use it as a display in the classroom. Now, you don't even need to use a brand new board. Simply going to a place like Goodwill and purchasing a used board, or even if you have a board laying around where pieces are missing, most game boards will lend themselves to behavioral modifications that can be used to kind of, again, either um, promote positive reinforcement or just kind of chart progress throughout any given time period. In this example, these two charts shown here, these two boards, are ones we're all familiar with, Monopoly and Candyland. But they can kind of serve two different purposes. For example, let's take Candyland first. In that example, you may want to actually group students and to give them a game piece they could place at the start of Candyland. And every time they do something that is representative of your expectations or is deserving of reinforcement, you can roll the dice, have the students move their game piece along the game board. Now, of course, finishing, getting to the end of Candyland would be the ultimate goal. And that might be a larger reinforcer, for example, maybe a homework pass or something bigger. But along the way, you could have sprinkled rewards. So even a simple dice roll could land them on a spot that could get them a prize, or a smaller reinforcer, such as a 10-minute break, or some kind of food reinforcer, or something along those lines. The Candyland works really well that way. That's how the game is typically played. If you land on a special spot, you might get something. So, again, you don't need anything really. You could do it individually too, but that's a little harder. But what's nice about having the reinforcers scattered throughout the game board is that you don't have to wait for the end for the reinforcement, and that's really great for a lot of students. And any given day could be a win. But if you are worried about students, worried about who's getting to finish first, a game like Monopoly is better because Monopoly just goes around in an infinite square that really is no end. So for the same idea, you could put things on the board and roll the dice, and students can move clockwise or counterclockwise, their game piece or their group game piece. And I like the idea of using these for group contingencies because when you use it for a group, it allows kids to be the heroes. Students may not typically get reinforced, can get reinforced. So it's very, very easy to do. Now, I did list some examples of how to play the game. Again, you can choose to have students get points for landing on spots, and then you can use those points for daily, weekly, or even the end of a given period or subject to reinforce. It depends how well your students can delay their gratification and need for reinforcement. You can look at just one behavior. For example, the game we played for raising your hand and not shouting out, or some other specific behavior you want to improve in the classroom. Um, it really depends on what you can do, but remember, it's about progress and not getting to an end goal like some games have, because if you have an end goal, students can get way far ahead, and that decreases the motivation for other students to want to really do well. So this is a neat little idea, something that students can really get behind, games they might recognize, and it might kind of put a new twist in how you progress and monitor and reinforce behaviors, because it kind of sets the rate up for you.